Peace and blessings, y'all, in this corner boxing 24. Good afternoon. How's everyone doing today? Hope everybody's doing pretty good. We're doing pretty good on this side as always. God is great, God is good, and I definitely can't complain. So, afterthoughts from the Thursday fight, February 8th in Las Vegas with Teofimo Lopez and Jamaine Ortiz. So I'm just going to talk a little bit about what I think, what I saw in that fight. I like Teofimo Lopez. I don't like some of the comments that he makes at times and the things that he says and the attitude, his father and everything like that. But I respect his fight game. He does come to fight. He does come forward. And he fights like the type of fighter that he's really not worried about getting hit. You know, he's coming forward regardless. However, he doesn't know how to cut the ring off good. And part of that is because a big part of that is because he's trying to adopt a style that's not really made to cut the ring off, right? And the style I'm talking about is the Philly shell. He uses that style. And that's a style where you're waiting on somebody to come to you. You're not going forward trying to cut the ring off with that style. And so those two styles don't work together for him to do that. Along with the fact that he punches from far outside. He punches from too far out. Okay, so, you know, yeah, he landed some shots on Jamaine Ortiz, but he could have landed a little bit better if he would have put himself in a closer position, right? But he didn't do that because he throws punches from so far out. He's not the tallest guy, and he doesn't have the longest reach. So it's like, you know, you punch him from out there, it's not going to happen. And you're giving your opponent a chance to see what you're doing and then being able to counter you. Now, if Jamaine Ortiz was a better counter puncher, if he was a good counter puncher, Teofimo Lopez would have got picked off a lot. Jamaine Ortiz is a guy that he definitely needs to learn how to capitalize more off of the other fighters' mistakes. And what I would have liked to have seen from him more, he moved around really good legs, really good movement, and that's awesome. That's actually what he should have did against Loma. When he fought Lomachenko, that's what he should have been doing. He should have been using that style to fight against Loma, because with Loma, you don't want to stay set with him. You want to move and make him come, you know what I mean, and then pick him off. So that movement that he had for Teofimo Lopez would have been good for Lomachenko. But also with Jamaine Ortiz, if you came behind a good commanding jab, a stiff jab, that would have kept Teofimo Lopez off balance even more. But he didn't come off of that. He was just moving side to side, moving around to keep him off balance. But if he would have set sometimes and had a nice jab, right, and then been able to throw, because he was in the southpaw stance. So if he would have had a nice jab and then came with that power hand behind it and then came in and out, he would have been good. Also, what would have helped Jamaine Ortiz out if he was throwing feints and making Teofimo try to commit or overcommit, and then he could have countered him with that. But he wasn't doing that as well. Okay? So he could have threw more feints. He could have definitely been established from the beginning with a jab. That would have made it easier for him. That would have made it easier for him and for the judges, okay? He didn't really make it easy because he wasn't really engaging enough. Some people say that the fight was a draw. Some people say that Jamaine Ortiz won. I could say that, you know, it could have been a draw, and it's possible he could have won, but can you really give him a win when he wasn't engaging that much and Teofimo Lopez is the champion? Did he really do enough to get the win? That's a question that has to be answered. So now, if you got a score, you know, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was a 117-11 one judge and then 115-113. So that 117-111 is a little high. I think it was definitely closer to a 115-113, okay? So it's just some things that both fighters could have did better. I thought that Jamaine Ortiz was gonna, do much better than that. I thought he was gonna engage more. And so whatever his strategy was, it was a good strategy. It's not to say it wasn't a good strategy, but within that strategy, you have to have a jab. The jab is basic. Okay, even if you want to move and you want to dance and you want to be a good boxer, you got to have a jab. Okay? It's just the bottom line. Shakur Stevenson is a boxer. Nice jab. Floyd Mayweather is a boxer. Good jab. You got to have a good jab to establish whatever you're doing. All right? And everything comes behind the jab. You got to be able to throw feints, fake your man out, throw a feint, get him moving, get him trying to commit, and then you tap him, and then you counter. So those are the things that he could have did better. Okay? The movement was great. The footwork was great. We know he could do that. But now you got to add something to it. As for Teofimo Lopez, he got to learn how to cut the ring off. Because now it's going to be, he can't cut the ring off. And then when he fights somebody with a good jab and somebody that has movement and somebody that can throw feints and somebody that can counter, he's going to even have worse of a problem. So Tank is a problem for Teofimo Lopez, of course. Shakur Stevenson is a problem for Teofimo Lopez. Devin Haney, those are problem fights for him because they're going to be in and out. And when he does get closer, they got enough power. Devin Haney got enough power. Tank got enough power. Shakur got decent power. They're going to have enough to keep him at bay, to keep him off, to back him up. So he got to be really careful, right, going forward with these fights. So that's just my brief take on it. Again, the fight could have been a draw. Possibly could have went to Jamaine Ortiz. But Teofimo Lopez definitely needs to be careful going forward. He had 2 great wins. Lomachenko, remember, Lomachenko, it was a close fight. Lomachenko did come back the second half of the fight. And we saw what happened with George Kambosos. When somebody really wants to engage him, it's like he can't really handle that. So I'm sure Jamaine Ortiz, if they go back and look, they'll say, man, you know what? We should have paid attention maybe more to that fight or that fight just as much. Maybe they looked at Josh Taylor. Maybe they looked at Lomachenko mostly to see what he was effective at. But you really got to look at Kambosos too because he was able to really land some big shots on Teofimo. So that's really my take on it. Peace and blessings, y'all. In this corner boxing 24. Please subscribe to the page. Please leave your comments. Everybody enjoy the rest of your day. Have a good evening. Peace and blessings, y'all.